Nigeria is a tier 1 country, so it's one of the largest contributors to the African Union.
38th Summit of African Heads of State and Government ends in Addis Ababa with expectations reeled out. African Union endorses Nigeria as digital trade champion. Female genital mutilation and widowhood leave get attention. House of Representatives makes case for stiffer penalties against offenders.
Any person who performs female circumcision or genital mutilation or engages another to carry out such circumcision or mutilation commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or to a fine not exceeding 11 million naira or both.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the network news on the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. And joining us to give us highlights from the world of business are Musa Abubakar. Musa?
The equities market begin the week in negative territory.
And from the world of sports, Badi Adile. Badi.
Well, Nigeria's beat to raise world beaters in tennis is very much on. We'll tell you when we get to sports.
And yes, we look forward to the details. Remember that this broadcast is being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. Do follow us across social media. Our handles are displayed on the screen. And now the news in detail. As a new set of leaders takes over the affairs of the African Union and its Commission, Nigeria is expecting priority attention in solving peace and security challenges in parts of the continent. The position of Nigeria as projected by President Bola Tinubu at the just concluded 38th Summit of the African Heads of State and Government in Addis Ababa. State House correspondent Musbau Dawahab reports.
At the decisive moment for change of leaders at the African Union, President Bola Tinubu joined other leaders to guide the process. Though somewhat retrospective, with the theme of the year, the future of the continent and its people are equally at stake. President João Lourenço of Angola now leads the current assembly as AU chairperson, while Mahmoud Ali Yusuf takes the longer-term leadership role as the AU Commission chairperson.
This is what Nigeria wanted. Nigeria pushed and played a very, very significant role in the emergence of this new leadership. President Tinubu gave direction as to what he wanted. He wanted a dynamic leadership, and we expect that they will be able to implement the necessary reforms, because don't forget that Nigeria is a tier 1 country, so it's one of the largest contributors to the African Union, and that's why we've been calling for reforms so that the funds that are contributed by the countries are applied in a more efficacious manner.
And then Nigeria gets its reward in the leadership of a commission with a first-round win for Bankole Adeoye as the AUC Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security. Another area of interest for Nigeria is the need for the establishment of the African Rating Agency to facilitate the much-needed investment and development across member states.
The West financial system, the Bretton Woods system, has been skewed against Africa and against even the global South. This is a great opportunity to balance that, to ensure that there's an even playing field. Our nuances, our history, our development path, which is quite different from that of the West, is respected and will taken into. So we have our own independent judges.
Nigeria is hoping to leverage the African Continental Free Trade Area when implemented, as the Economic Commission for Africa signed an MOU with the Secretariat.
President Tinubu got a commendation from the AU champion on AFCFTA for his leading role on digital trade, protocol. We had a roundtable in January hosting the Secretary General, and our fintechs, about 5 of them got to speak and talk about what they're doing across the continent. You know that the AFCFTA and the digital trade and services in particular is where our young people are competitive. As you know, 5 out of 9 unicorns are from Nigeria. So it's really an area where Mr. President, picking up from his meeting in Paris with Google, he's really prioritized this agenda, and he will continue to do so.
The agreement is to advance implementation and foster economic integration across Africa. From Addis Ababa, Musbah Dan Wahab, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the African Union has endorsed Nigeria as the digital trade champion for the continent under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Digital Trade Protocol, following the impressive record of the federal government in promoting digital enterprise and innovation. The 38th ordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government, which concluded on Sunday in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, recognizes Nigeria's proactive role in advancing the implementation of the Digital Trade Protocol adopted in February 2024. The protocol features an agenda to develop 8 annexes covering critical areas, including rules of origin, digital identities, cross-border data transfers, legitimate and legal public interest, reasons for disclosing source code, online safety and security, emerging and advanced technologies and financial technology. In his annual report on the progress of the AFCFTA's Digital Trade Protocol, former President of Niger Republic and AUFCFTA champion Mamadou Issoufou commended Nigeria's leadership for convening the Digital Economy Roundtable in January, noting that the gathering was pivotal in driving the digital trade agenda forward, adding that no organization, region or continent has negotiated or adopted such a comprehensive legal instrument on digital trade, positioning the African continent to benefit from the digital economy for innovation and job creation. The former Nigerian leader observed that young Africans are leaders in digital innovation, particularly in mobile banking and other digitally enabled services. President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi Tinubu are back in Abuja after attending the 38th African Union Summit. The first couple arrived Abuja via the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 7:25 this Monday evening. The House of Representatives is strengthening the legal framework and making a case for stiffer penalties against genital mutilation, which affects more than 20 million females across the world, including Nigeria. They made this known at a public hearing on 2 consolidated bills seeking amendment to the Violence Against Persons Act 2015 and a bill which makes provision for widowhood leave to be given for a man or woman upon the death of a spouse. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
According to UNICEF data, the prevalence of female genital mutilation in Nigeria accounts for 10% of the global burden. This public hearing by the House Committee on Women Affairs seeks to provide an opportunity to address diverse perspectives and share insight on the devastating physical and psychological effects on women and girls with regards to genital mutilation.
Mawot equally looks forward to a period in history where women will be free to make an informed choice on what to do with their bodies within the law of this country.
The bill appropriately extends widowhood leave to both widows and widowers, ensuring equality and fairness.
We need to ensure that Nigerian girls remain protected even when taken abroad. Survivors like me do not need pity. No, we need action.
Members of the committee acknowledge the submissions brought forward and promise that all recommendations will be treated on merit in the interest of Nigerians.
Any person who performs female circumcision or genital mutilation or engages another to carry out such circumcision or mutilation commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 5 years or to a fine not exceeding 11 million naira or both.
The committee is expected to report back to the plenary for further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
The Lagos State House of Assembly today passed a vote of confidence in the leadership of the Speaker, Mojisola Meranda, after a mild drama at the commencement of the day's proceedings. Men of the Department of State Services had earlier in the day, on the invitation of the acting clerk via a letter dated 14th February, stormed the Assembly premises to prevent any breakdown of law and order. The invitation to fortify the security of the Assembly premises with effect from Sunday 16 February 2025 was based on information available to the House that plans were afoot to forcefully reinstate the impeached Speaker of the State House of Assembly on the 18th of February 2025. The lawmakers insist that the recent change in leadership and emergence of Honorable Mojisola Meranda remains the consensus of the entire membership of the Lagos House of Assembly. With about a week from the local government elections in Osun State, the judgment of the Appeal Court Akure on October 15, 2022 local government election is heating up the polity, necessitating the stakeholders to seek interpretation of the judgment. Femi Afariogun reports.
The Court of Appeal in Akure had in its judgment on 10th of February struck out a case instituted by PDP against APC on the 2022 Osun local government election. Amidst controversy surrounding interpretation of the judgment, the chairmen under APC resumed to their various local governments, which sparked violence in some parts of the state. The governor, Senator Ademola Adeleke, and the All Progressives Congress are calling for proper interpretation of the judgment.
I call on Mr. President to install the National Security Advisor and the Attorney General of the Federation to personally verify the fact the Court of Appeal judgment did not reinstate the sacked local government chairmen and councillors.
The Inspector General of Police and all other security apparatus in Nigeria are called upon and allowed to degenerate into crisis, and same are capable of inviting and inciting crisis in Osun State.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress directed workers of the local governments to stay at home until the issue is resolved. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
And joining me now to speak on the situation in Osun State is Niyi Akinshiju, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you for joining NTA News.
Pleasure is mine. Thanks for having me.
And what's your reading of the situation in Osun State? Reports say casualties have already been recorded.
And it's very unfortunate. One feels so bad because lives have been lost, and I personally feel so bad because when you are an advocate of democracy and the essence and essentials of a democracy, which is pivoted on peace and of course transparency, when you start witnessing situations or scenarios where lives are being lost, then of course one will not be exactly excited and one will not be happy. The fact that lives are lost, and especially the lives of Mr. Remi Abbas, the former chairman of Riwole local government that I know, when the news got across to me this afternoon, I felt quite bad. Election should not be about violence, should not be about loss of lives. And whatever the case may be, I think at every point in time, governors of states that are responsible for security as the first line of security in that state should be up and doing. And if they are not up and doing, they should be, of course, called to account. So at my own level, I am calling the governor of Osun State to account on this matter, because a life, especially of such of Remi Abbas, is not just about him alone, it's about so many other people, and it has implication for the quality of lives and the existence, of course, of those people he had left behind.
So in addition to some of these proposals you've made, especially concerning holding governors accountable, what more do you think should be the way forward?
A commitment to the legal process. Our constitution and praxis over the time, since we resumed or we returned to democracy, we have had cases of judicial intervention. And this judicial intervention over time has shown consistency and has shown that the judiciary has capacity to resolve our differences. So at any point in time, whatever may be the differences, whatever may be the divergence, there should be a need to resort to the judiciary. And in this case, especially when the Court of Appeal are taking a certain decision on this matter, and of course there is a confusion, as it were. I think the next thing is to either look for the appropriate or seek the appropriate kind of interpretation, or go to the next appellate court, which is the Supreme Court. So there's absolutely no need to unleash this kind of violence. And I must actually talk about I don't want to call it false alarm, but the alarm of the governor earlier this morning. When I read that statement, I was like, was the governor actually talking about the former governor Oyetola of Osun State? Because I was a part of the monitoring team to the election bid of the former governor. And when he lost by a razor-thin margin, 3.5% of the total election result, there was absolutely no form of violence. In fact, when the supporters of the governor at that time was encouraging him, and of course were actually rooting for violence, I know that the governor sent emissaries to them to calm them down. So that is the kind of antecedents I know about this governor. So I don't think that kind of person or that personality would have such tendency, to incite or to even resort to violence.
All right there, sir. For now, we'll be looking and expecting more updates from our center on the situation. I've been speaking with public affairs analyst Ni Akinshiju, who says elections should not be violent, and of course there's always a way when you seek redress through the court channels. Thank you for joining us, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
This is the network news on NTA. Do stay tuned for more reports. We're talking security matters now, and reports alleging civilian casualties have followed an airstrike conducted by the air component of Operation Fansanyama at Yauni Hill, Zakka ward of Safana local government area, Katsina State, which neutralized several bandits and helped to repel an onslaught against Police Mobile Force and Katsina State Community Watch Corps personnel. The operation was launched in response to intelligence indicating a terrorist attack on a police mobile force location in the community, where bandits had already killed 2 of the personnel and 4 vigilantes. The chief of the air staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, however, says the reports of casualties is deeply troubling and has ordered a thorough investigation to verify the claims and ensure appropriate action is taken based on the findings, adding that as a professional force dedicated to the protection of Nigeria and its people, the NAF operates under strict rules of engagement and adheres to internationally accepted standards in all its operations. Digital Bridge Institute is advancing the present administration's renewed hope agenda for a digital future for Nigeria, with a plan to create 50,000 Digitech jobs. Ayodeji Makinde has the details.
This initiative focuses on capacity building and strategic partnerships with media organizations and small business training solutions to boost awareness of opportunities in the global digital ecosystem, particularly business process outsourcing. As part of this effort, DBI will establish BPO centers across Nigeria's geopolitical zones to position the country as a hub for digital services. The DBI CEO, Dasa David, highlights that this initiative aligns with the National Digital Economic Policy and Strategy 2020 to 2030, which aims to equip at least 5 million Nigerians with essential digital skills.
Together, we will provide high-quality practical training that empowers young Nigerians to build sustainable careers, launch businesses, and become job creators rather than job seekers.
We need to look for an innovative way to finance some people's education. They may not need everything, but think about it. You want to train a software developer who doesn't have a laptop, and you want to compete with the guy in India or the Philippines. Give me a break, guys. Let's get realistic.
The program will focus on mentorship, training and retraining of young entrepreneurs in areas such as digital marketing, cybersecurity, outsourcing, and data analysis. Additionally, the federal government will provide takeoff grants for digital tech startups, helping Nigeria contribute to the projected global demand of 170 million new tech jobs by 2030. In Abuja, Ayodeji, Makinde, NTA News.
The Police Service Commission has approved the appointment of Moshood Jimoh as Commissioner of Police, Lagos Command. Francis Form reports more on the new sheriff in town.
CP Moshood Jimoh served as Commissioner of Police, Ports Authority, Eastern Ports, a seasoned law enforcement officer, hails from Kwara State and has held several key positions, including First Public Relations Officer, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Airport Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of Finance and Administration, and Deputy Commissioner of Police, General Investigation. CP Jimoh has undergone extensive professional training, including Combat Operations course at the Mobile Training College, Maiduguri, African Union Mission in Darfur, Sudan, Weapons of Mass Destruction Countermeasure Training, USA, Social Construction and Management Reform Training, China, Executive Leadership Academy, Pudong, China, Maritime Rescue and Salvage Training, China, Maritime Academy, Ningbo, China, Anti-Hijacking Techniques and Tactics Training, Yunnan, Police College, Kunming, China, Police Training Institute, South Korea. Jimoh, a recipient of Presidential Award for Public Relations Personality of the Year and also recognized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations for his exceptional contributions to public relations and law enforcement. His appointment was confirmed today, February 17, in a session attended by key officials of the Police Service Commission. Lagos, a sensitive state, and Jimoh's wealth of experience is once again on test. Francis from NTA News.
The National Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, has announced the application cycle for the 2023-2024 academic year will officially close February 21, 2025. The 2024-2025 application portal is set to open February 22, 2025. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NEL Fund, Akintunde Uluwole Sawyer, made this announcement at a media parley in Abuja, revealing that over the past 220 days, NEL Fund received 364,042 applications, disbursing more than 35 billion naira in institutional fees and upkeep support, benefiting more than 380,000 students.
We want to reassure all applicants who have successfully submitted their applications before this deadline that their application will be processed in line with our established guidelines. I am pleased to announce that the 2024-2025 application cycle will officially commence on February the 22nd, 2025. This transition is a necessary step to streamline our operations, align with the academic calendar, and enhance our ability to process applications efficiently.
Commending partners and stakeholders, Nelfund CEO reaffirmed the fund's commitment to supporting Nigerian students in achieving their educational aspirations. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council has been driving reforms to improve the business environment for micro, small and medium enterprises through the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms program. 2 years into its implementation, stakeholders are meeting in Abuja to assess the progress made and chart a way forward. Neka Oku reports.
It's been 2 years since the federal government launched the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms, a World Bank-assisted program aimed at simplifying regulatory processes and improving the business environment. Maiwa Danuhu, who owns a small business in the Federal Capital Territory, recalls the struggles he faced while trying to register his business, going through multiple government agencies.
A long process now.
Nuhu's experience is not unique. Thousands of small business owners across the country face similar challenges which stifle their growth. But all that seemed to be changing as the federal government, through the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms, has been working with state governments to improve the business environment. This sensitization workshop is to track progress made and chart a way forward.
Through the $750 million SABER program co-designed by Ministry of Finance, FEB and World Bank, I'm hoping that we're able to accelerate more impactful reforms.
So the objective of SABER is to make the environment of business attractive so we can bring in capital.
It is a coordinated program that intends to consolidate on what had been achieved, especially in the area of doing business in the country.
With progress made, small business owners like that of Nuhu are eagerly awaiting impacts of the implementation of the reforms, which they hope will make it easier for them to do business and create jobs. In Abuja, Neka Oku, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria, through the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, has provided an intervention of various food and non-food items for nearly 10,000 returnees who recently arrived from Chad. The subcommittee chairman on repatriation and Borno State Commissioner for Education, Lawan Abba Wakilbi, received the relief items on behalf of Governor Babagana Umar Zulum for onward distribution to the returnees in their resettled communities across Kuka local government area. Pauline Kujevana reports.
These individuals have spent over a decade in displacement after being forced from their ancestral homes in Baga, Kukawa local government area due to Boko Haram insurgency. However, Governor Zulum personally led their repatriation from Chad after they voluntarily opted to return home, ensuring a dignified and well-coordinated effort for their safe and sustainable reintegration. This large scale of assorted food and non-food assistance by National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons is part of ongoing effort to support the resettlement of returnees in Borno State. According to the officials from the Commission, the relief support was an immediate intervention aimed at addressing the basic needs of the returnees.
More are coming, and we're here to support the process, as you can see, with food and non-food items. We've signed tripartite agreements with Cameroon and Chad, so it's an ongoing process. It will probably take a couple of years to complete.
UNHCR is our technical partner. They have to be involved in this exercise to ensure that best practices and international standards are maintained.
Schooling has been going on for the last 2 or 3 years in Baga. That speaks volume. Resettlement of Baga has been one of the objectives of His Excellency, and we resettled Baga since 2020.
The intervention is seen as a critical step in sustaining government resettlement efforts, ensuring that displaced persons who return home do so with dignity and access to necessary resources for stability and self-reliance. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
We'll take a break now. Stay tuned for more reports.
Upgrading your TV doesn't mean buying a new one. Unbelievable, right? But with the new Airtel Smart Router, you can
Camera is first, guys.
But after that, it's always good vibes. The National Agency for Science and Technology Infrastructure, NASENI, has undertaken the groundbreaking ceremony of a Sustainable and Emerging Technologies Institute project in Bayero University, Kano, as part of President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Executive Vice Chairman of the agency, Khalil Ibrahim Halilu, said the project is aimed at harnessing the innovative talent of Nigerian youth. Shehu Adamu reports.
Sitting on the expanse of 30 hectares of land, Sustainable and Emerging Technologies Institute was conceptualized by the National Agency for Science and Technology Infrastructure, NASENI. The Executive Vice Chairman of the agency, Khalil Suleiman Halilu, said the institute, which will be equipped with state-of-the-art and cutting-edge technologies, is aimed at harnessing the innovative talents of the Nigerian youth. Situated in Bayero University, Kano, the institute will include innovation hubs devoted to artificial intelligence to be complemented with reliable power supply, to be fully built and equipped by the National Agency for Science and Technology Infrastructure, NASENI.
Fostering collaboration between government, academia, and the private sector, we are laying the foundation for a future that is self-sufficient, technologically competitive, and environmentally sustainable.
Today is a very proud moment where we've not just laid the foundation, but we're looking forward to, the rapid completion of this institute so that it can drive a lot of economic transformation in the country.
Bayero University, Kano is particularly delighted to be part of this momentous occasion, as it aligns with our commitment to scientific research, digital transformation, and capacity building in emerging technologies.
This ambitious project that looks up to the future, which is technology and ICT driven, in line with President Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, will promote innovation and creativity in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. In Kano, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
And from Kano, we head to Adamawa State, where the Ministry of Livestock and Aquaculture Development has launched a mass animal vaccination in all 21 local government areas in the state, targeting 3.5 million animals. The initiative is to prevent, eradicate, and manage transboundary diseases and mitigate farmer-herder conflict to foster a peaceful and productive environment. Simon Asha reports.
Countering animal diseases pose a significant threat to both animal health and livelihood of those who depend on them. This necessitated the Ministry of Livestock and Aquaculture Development in Adamawa State, in collaboration with the World Organization for Animal Health Mission, to launch this mass vaccination campaign to address widespread devastation and economic losses.
It is a clear fact that we all depend on livestock products, meat, milk, egg, and fish for the daily nutrient development of our bodies. Therefore, this administration is always ready to invest in the livestock subsector so as to enable to increase the GDP of the state from the current 40% to a greater percentage.
The trend Nigerian economy is going on now calls for each region to identify its potential and exploit it. Looking at in Adamawa State, livestock forms the bedrock of our state GDP, where it contributes to over 40% of the state GDP.
Critical stakeholders have expressed strong support for the campaign, emphasizing its potentials to improve livestock health and generate substantial economic benefits for the state and the nation. In Yola, Simon Asha, NTA News.
And still on economic benefits, let's join Musa on our business desk to see what's happening in the world of business. Musa?
Thank you, Naja. Let's begin with Accountant General's office. Government-owned enterprises have been urged to remit to the Treasury revenues due the federal government has at when due. This is as commissioners of finance, auditors and accountant generals from across the country are in Abuja to brainstorm on the theme, Nigeria's revenue challenges and the way forward, with emphasis on exploring non-oil alternatives. For the Minister of Finance and Coordinator Minister of the Economy represented, deployment of technology in addition to exploring Nigeria's services sector is the way to go.
Solid minerals, manufacturing, tourism, digital economy and creative industries. Especially this last one, we have to embrace it very well. Digital economy and creative industries. They are more than oil. We have so much to show to the world, so much to produce through creative. Nigerians are talented. Let's not waste those talents. Let's harness them.
Owing to a multiplicity of factors, ranging from the exchange rate, volatility, low revenue performance, rising costs, amongst others. These have complicated fiscal operations in the last few years.
Now to the equities market, the Nigerian stock market ended today's trading session in the red as the all-share index closed at 107,937.74 points, reflecting a downturn from the previous session. Despite the negative close, market activity remained strong, with a total of 17,095 deals executed. Investors traded 511.1 million shares, valued at 12.81 billion naira. Meanwhile, the equity market capitalization settled at 67.35 trillion naira, indicating a dip in overall market value. The decline in the ASI suggests profit-taking activities and cautious trading sentiment among investors. Well, as a quick look at business news, it's now time to pause for more messages. The news continues after the break.
To great rewards starts with the Save and Win Pally promo system.
6 years down the line with the establishment of National Commission for People with Disabilities, what is the accessibility level to enhance their productivity and overall welfare? Can there be subtle discrimination still against their aspirations? That is the conversation on NTA Tuesday Live, coming up on the 18th February 2025 with the stakeholders. Tuesday Live, every week at 10:30 p.m. Incisive and educative as ever. Join us.
Just in time for sports highlights, details with Badi Adele. Badi?
Many thanks, Najatu. Now, let's begin with golf. As Evelyn Oyome reaffirmed her status as the #1 amateur golfer in Nigeria, as she outplayed a field of more than 400 golfers to emerge the overall winner of the 2025 IBB Ladies Amateur Open Championship at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja. Participants from Nigeria and 5 African countries fought for honors in different categories of the championship for 3 days, with the professionals not exempted.
I'm so happy that I've done that, and I'm looking forward to next year. Well, it might be difficult this year because a lot of people are now saying, oh, they want to do it, but the most important thing that I did it 3 times.
We had over 450 registered players. We also had over 50 clubs from the various parts of Nigeria with 5 countries. This is the biggest ever Ladies Open recorded anywhere.
And from the golf course now to the tennis court, as about 64 tennis players from different parts of the world are taking part in the 2025 ITF Junior Circuit J30 tournament at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. Monday marked day 1 of the ITF World Tennis Tour, with 9 nations including host Nigeria, Morocco and China represented in the competition. The tournament, which is part of Nigeria's bid to grow home talents and enhance international relationships, ends on March the 2nd.
I played really well today. I hope I can keep on with the same momentum throughout the tournament. Yeah, and I won. It was 6-2. ITF in Abuja here is really good for the Nigerian players. We don't really get to play a lot of ITF because of the travel. So this one that they are doing here is very good for us. We have to make use of it.
I knew there wasn't that many people, so I tried to come and get some points, but unfortunately I played the first round. So that's tough luck for this week. It's the first time I've ever traveled this far for a tournament. I feel like it's a wonderful experience. I'm someone who's lived in Asia my whole life, and coming here is like a very eye-opening experience, seeing all the locals, everyone.
And to a bit of football, 4 second-leg matches of the playoff round of the UEFA Champions League are built for Tuesday. AC Milan face a pivotal challenge against Feyenoord after a 1-0 defeat in the first leg. Atalanta will compete against Club Brugge, having lost the first leg 2-1. Bayern Munich are also looking to secure a spot in the round of 16 as they host Celtic, holding a 2-1 lead from their previous encounter, while Benfica and Monaco meet at the Stadio da Luz, with the winner set to face either Liverpool or Barcelona. That does it on sports. Let's now return to Nigeria.
Right, sports highlights there with Bade Adele bringing our bulletin to the end. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Najat Tijani.